Welcome back, second grade readers. Readers, we have been reading our fiction stories and thinking about how readers determine the central message, lesson, or moral in a story. We've also thought about how characters respond to problems in stories to help us figure out the lesson. So today we are going to continue that work of determining the lesson in a story. To determine the message, lesson, or moral in a story, there's a couple of things we have to do. Step one, we have to recount the big events like the beginning, the middle, and the end. Okay, so we're going to go back to the story Memoirs of a Hamster. And that's going to help us to recall the big events. That means the most important events that happen that change the perspective of the characters. When I'm doing this, I have to think about first the beginning. What happens in the beginning? In the middle, is there a problem? How was the problem solved? And in the end, what did the character or characters learn from solving that problem? Okay, so let's look at the beginning of the story. Seymour was very content with the things he had. Let's go ahead and read this page. Night 1. My life is perfect. I have a bowl full of seeds, a cozy pile of wood shavings, and a room to run. I'm never leaving here. Question: who's the luckiest hamster in the world? Answer: me. So, as we notice in the beginning of the story, Seymour goes through all of the things that he loves about his cage and his life. But then, in the middle of the story, something changes. Here's one of the big events that happens that changes Seymour's feelings. Night 7. I planned on running a marathon tonight, but my Fuzzy Boy 360 is a little squeaky. Pearl came over to the cage looking a little annoyed. You really need to get yourself out of there, she said. But why? I asked. I've got my wheel, I've got my seeds, I've got yogurt drops. You wouldn't need a wheel out here, she said. There's plenty of room to run. The staircase is made of sunflower seeds, and the sunroom is filled with yogurt drops. As she was walking away, she turned around and said, Watch out for Hoover. Hoover? Who's Hoover? So, right then, boys and girls, you notice that he's starting to wonder and he's more curious, thinking, well, wait a minute. Pearl is saying that all of these amazing things are happening outside of his cage. So he's no longer thinking he has the best life in the world because she said that the staircase is made of sunflower seeds and that the sunroom is filled with yogurt drops. So now he's starting to wonder if he should change his life and if he should go out. So let's see if he does. There's one of the big events. He escapes from his cage. But then he realizes that Pearl was tricking him this whole time. Night 11. Note to self: cats are big, fat liars. I'm writing this from under the sofa. One wrong move and Pearl will have me for dinner. For starters, the staircase is not made of sunflower seeds. It's just carpet, and it tastes like a sweater. And the sunroom is nice, but there wasn't a yogurt drop in sight. And when I heard Pearl, the big fat liar, say, Hello, Seymour, I knew something was wrong. She looked really hungry. But all of that time on the wheel paid off. I raced past her and squeezed out of the sunroom just in time. I made it here. But now what? Pearl keeps clawing under the sofa, that big fat liar. I'll probably never see my cage again. Question: who's in big trouble? Answer: me. Wow. He thought he had such a great life, but then he decided to change it. So the big event was that he escaped out of his cage to look for a better life. But then in the end, you'll notice he gets back in his cage and he is content again and he is happy. So let's read this ending. Night 14. My life is perfect. I have a bowl full of seeds, a cozy pile of wood shavings, and room to run. I'm never leaving here. Question: who's the luckiest hamster in the world? Answer: me. Okay, so let's recount. The big event in the beginning was that he had everything he wanted. Seymour was content with his life. He had all of the things he needed in his cage. He had his yogurt drops, the hamster wheel, and he was so happy and he thought he was the luckiest hamster ever. But then he was tricked and he escaped from his cage and he realized that Pearl was a big, fat liar because she tricked him into thinking there was better things outside of his cage. But then in the end, he realized he had everything he had ever wanted. So, to determine the lesson in this story, we have to think, what did Seymour learn? He learned that some things are too good to be true. He learned this because Pearl said that the staircase was made of seeds and that there were yogurt drops all in the sunroom. She was making all of that up because some things are too good to be true. It wasn't the truth. She was telling a lie. Okay, so now it's your turn. As you're reading today, I want you to try to determine the lesson in the story. So you have to think about the beginning, the big event, the middle, and the end. What did the character learn in the story? What lesson did they realize? Hey, have fun reading.